What the fuck are you doing?
You! What are you doing in Miss Pavlova's quarters? I forgot his name. Voice.
Ah, you both look unhurt. Good.
Yes, we're fine, thank you. What on earth happened? We heard something about how we were going to collide with another ship.
Yes. It appears to have been a false report, though.
Oh, how did that happen?
There's a dense fog outside, so it's extremely difficult to see. Someone must have thought he saw a ship ahead. This person obviously triggered the alarm, and that's why we made an emergency stop.
Everything is chaos! Passengers are screaming! Crew are running everywhere! Their knees weak, arms... I don't know why I thought of that.
Breathing heavy. There's sweat on his...
Vomit on the sweaters already!
Rivali's gale is now ready.
Rivali's gale is now ready. Or no, what was it? Rivali's gale is now ready.
Beautiful.
The way that he talked.
Man, Rivali... Sean Shiplock has such a great voice.
True.
I love his performance of just like everything he does. God bless.
This first-class area is the only quiet part of the ship at the moment. Oh, I see.
Someone triggered the alarm? Does that mean that someone pressed that button outside?
You wicked intruder! Dressed all in black, you're the devil!
Sorry? Me? I've been called a lot of things before, but devil is a first.
You opened my traveling case! How could you?
What? No, we didn't touch it!
That's right, Miss Pavlova. It was already open when we came into your cabin. Inspector!
How do you know?
Yes.
How do you know that he's an inspector?
Arrest this man! I know he did it! He's a criminal. Is it not enough that he's killed a man?
Ah, and he is a stowaway as well. If Vixen promises not to steal chicken, do you believe?
Take him away. He's a trespasser as well as everything else.
Stowing away, trespassing, killing. She is right. You are devil. It doesn't look good, does it? There is a cell below deck. Throw him in. Why do you guys have a cell on a ship? Tomorrow we talk in Hong Kong. Then we give you straight to police.
Honestly, why do they have a cell?
Yeah, wait, a cell?
On a ship.
Why the fuck do you guys have that on a ship? Wait! A cell?
Please, Inspector Hosonaga, is there nothing you can do? This is a Russian vessel. I really have no jurisdiction here. After my last effort to appeal to the captain's good nature, I think I'm out of options. This is terrible.
This is a real crisis. I've got to find a solution. Immediately! Oh.
Wait, is this?
Run!
Wait, examine.
If I
Look to the left.
Do I think is what I'm gonna see over here to the left what I think I'm gonna see?
Probably. Hi, Mr. Scholz.
What are you doing up there? Mr. Sholmes? Naturally, I was analyzing what a weight of 20,000 rubles feels like on one's head. Have I not told you that as a detective, it is my business to know what other people do not? This isn't mere tomfoolery, my boy! Oh, no. Well, why were you hanging from that hook before then? Isn't it obvious? To properly assess the weight of 20,000 rubles, naturally. I was determined if it would bend that conceited-looking hook on the wall, so full of brag and bounce. I never know whether to take this man seriously or not.
You again! The great detective!
Ah, Inspector. I confess I've been looking for you. I have something to report to you most urgently.
Well, you might try looking for me somewhere other than a hook on the wall next time.
What is to report? Speak! An urgent report from a great detective can mean but one thing.
I've unraveled all the mysteries.
Yes. The case of the curious murder that took place last night, here on this vessel, the steamship Buria, has been solved by me, naturally.
Really?
Yes, I have eliminated all other possibilities. No other explanations exist. So, allow me to illuminate all your minds. For I am about to reveal my great detective's greatly admired great deduction to the case! That was hard to say.
Great, great, great.
Ha! You have solved it? Even Hedgehog understands this case. We all knew who was responsible for killing Student Boy this morning, when we found a criminal in wardrobe. It is this stowaway, and he has handcuffs to prove it. I didn't do it!
The trouble is, there doesn't appear to be anyone else who could have killed the victim. Because, as everyone knows, the cabin door is bolted shut from the inside. That means the culprit must be someone who was inside the cabin. Yes, it's what's called a locked room mystery in detective stories.
Ah, locked room, that is point!
The room was locked.
Well, I can't deny that. There's no way the bolt could have been drawn across from outside the cabin. You are all quite mistaken. Where did the tiara go? The cabin next door is not a so-called locked room at all.
What?
Oh yes, there is another entrance. An entrance used last night by the culprit in order to gain access to the cabin despite the bolted door.
What other entrance? We never discovered one.
Why, it gapes open-mouthed at you even as we speak. The ventilator, man!
The ventilator.
I like that line. The ventilator, man!
The ventilator, man.
You think this is funny? I cannot even put my arm through that hole!
You have big
That's-
arms.
Because your arms are as thick as tree trunks.
You're suggesting that the culprit entered and left the victim's cabin through that tiny opening. It's not possible.
Ah, but it is. And last night, the victim even witnessed the intruder in the act of passing through the ventilator.
Mr. Sholmes, do you mean... Are you referring to the words Kazuma-sama wrote in his diary? 1:23 a.m. I can hear a faint whistling sound. 1:35 a.m. What looks like some sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill.
Precisely, my dear madame.
But what does it mean? What is this speckled band?
The answer to that particular conundrum is in this very cabin.
What?
Mr. Sholmes? What are you doing?
Busted move.
I kind of just like this sprite, just like, ooh, right jab. He's doing the Macarena.
Choo, 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 pow, choo, choo, pow, pow, choo, choo, choo.
There is a distinct element of danger, but fear not, I am ready. What I am about to expose for you all to see will shock you to your cores. Behold!
What the?
Allow me to introduce you all to the band! The Speckled Band! A snake? Indubitably. Mr. Sholmes, just one thing. Pray, what troubles you? Well, that snake isn't really speckled, is it? Looks more stripy. Wouldn't you say? Hmm?
Yes, you're right. I think in this case you'd have to call it the striped band, wouldn't you?
I really like that. That is just you're totally right, but I'm way too stuck up to admit it, so I'm just thinking of a response.
Wait, Akito? Ahahaha. I have an explanation for everything.
With distinction. However, do you not think that is precisely the trap into which the culprit wishes you to fall?
Oh my goodness! Really? It's a trap!
How exactly? I think perhaps it is time I explained the intricacies of my train of thought. Are you ready, Miss Pavlova?
I'm sorry for the young man who died, but that's all. His death has nothing to do with me. This whole thing has nothing to do with me.
There are two conclusions I have drawn from the facts. Number one, last night your friend infiltrated the victim's cabin. And number two, that same friend was responsible for the victim losing his life.
No.
She's turned as white as a bowl of rice again. Sholmes must be right. He's hit the nail on the head.
This young woman's friend killed Mr. Asogi.
Looks like he can't speak with that snake coiled around his head. I would advise as little movement as possible, Seaman. You wouldn't want the fangs of that long friend in your neck.
Nah.
So, everyone, let us begin. Herlock Sholmes is proud to present his logic and reasoning spectacular!
Oh, here we go.
The game is afoot. Miss Pavlova, moments ago you claimed the father. His death is nothing to do with me. This whole thing is nothing to do with me. Yet you cannot deceive yourself. Yes, when you recall those horrid events, your aching heart smarts with pain. And it is that very pain that evidences your inextricable link to the victim's death. So, we ask, what was the nature of this intruder that stole into the victim's... into the victim's cabin on that portentous night? Why, naturally, it was the friend with which you boarded this vessel, was it not? Ah, as I suspected, another telltale glance. Without doubt, your friend is the writhing serpent we see before us. And yet, that fact leaves us in a quandary. The victim's written observations of the night in question tell of a speckled band, whereas regrettably, this specimen's markings do not fit that description in any way. What explanation can we give then, pray? What was this sight that fell upon the victim's eyes last night?
No, don't look at me. This has nothing to do with any...
Huh?
Oh, but it does. You have the answer to this quandary even now, hidden behind your back. Yes, that which you are trying, but failing, to conceal can only be the snake's
Slowed, I think.
Slough.
Slough?
Slough
Slough.
skin. Slough skin.
Yes, that which you are trying, but failing, to conceal can only be the snake's sloughed skin. Evidently, after the subtle and horrible crime, this most deadly friend of yours shed its original skin. No.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Last night, through the ventilator visible in this cabin, your then speckled friend slithered next door. Using the bell cord on the other side as a bridge, the serpent silently descended into the victim's quarters. In the dim light, it appeared to the young gentleman who was about to lose his life as a speckled band. In summary, the nature of this friend of yours, which last night infiltrated the scene of the crime, is a rare breed of snake, whose markings change each time it sloughs its skin. Fuck. A snake so truthful, we can only imagine it would be found in the deepest depths of India.
Oh, God bless.
So he died. Moving on, we come to the heart of the grim demise of the victim. How did this young man get here? I teleported him. That was kind of... Because like she reacted to it as well.
Huh? Where did he come from?
How did this young man lose his life? And why? According to the data of which I had been apprised, it would appear there were no visible signs of injury. In fact, the circumstances of the victim's death can only be explained by a terrible venom. Now, if we take that as fact, we can reasonably imagine that there remains evidence to affirm it at the scene of the crime.
Oh no, could there be?
Yes, an examination of the deceased body will prove the cause of death conclusively. The almost, but not quite, imperceptible puncture left by the venomous fangs will seal the truth. Yes, the vestiges of the snakebite delivered by your terrifying friend.
This makes no sense.
There is no point feigning ignorance, Miss Pavlova. After the incident, you endeavored to hide everything, didn't you? Now your involuntary glance betrays the hiding place you chose. That's right. You hid the evidence that links you to the victim's death in that traveling case. We first met in this cabin. It came to my attention that your case moved periodically. Your serpent assassin was relentless inside, no doubt. Wrong word.
You don't...
It is telling that the victim made note of a low whistling sound that he heard minutes before his end. That was your signal, was it not? The sound you would use to train your serpent friend, Fun.
Train?
Indeed, you'd put the serpent through this ventilator and after a period, you'd summon it back with a whistle. You couldn't know if the animal had done its duty, so you would listen for signs of life next door. If the victim appeared not to have been dispatched, you'd release the snake once more. Do you deny this snake has undergone such training?
It's not true.
Having slithered through the ventilator and down the bell cord, the creature needed only to sink its fangs once. And its venom would course through the victim's veins, ending his existence forever. That is the true nature of the speckled band that took the poor young man's life. There can be no doubt. My logic is infallible. Thus concludes Sherlock Sholmes's great deduction of the speckled band. Yeah, me too, guys.
What an image.
Miss Pavlova has trained her pet snake as a killing machine. There on the floor, you will observe a saucer of milk. The promise of food is the key to training any creature. Incredible! You solved the mystery!
Amazing. Your great deduction really lives up to its name. I see now why Sherlock Sholmes has become such a household name.
Sherlock Sholmes.
My dear man, it was nothing remarkable. As the Russians say, I could have done it with one left hand.
Could I venture an opinion, Mr. Sholmes?
But of course, what's on your mind?
It's just about your deductions before. Some things don't quite make sense to me.
I welcome questions as to my method, and will answer both loudly and proudly.
Oh, well, good. First of all, snakes are egg-laying creatures, part of the reptile family.
You are well informed, madam.
And reptiles, don't drink milk. It's really only mammals that like to drink milk, you see. So, I'm not sure it would be possible to train a snake using milk as a reward.
No matter. No doubt Miss Pavlova used some other treat to encourage her pet to do her bidding. Milk was merely an example. The logic holds.
Well, there is something else. Snakes have no ears. Yes, so I'm not sure it would really be possible to signal to a snake by whistling.
But, madame, what of the tales from Arabia? Have you not heard of the snakes that dance to the sounds of a flute?
I think perhaps the performers play their music in time with the snake's natural movements.
Oh, I see. No hands, no feet, no ears? These creatures are so inept as to be practically useless! Don't take it out of the snakes, Mr. Sholmes.
There is one other thing.
You have more?!
Snakes use the scales on their bellies to propel themselves. So, I'm not really sure that a snake could manage to climb up a flat bell cord like the ones in these cabins.
Then it should try harder!
Please, don't be angry with me, Mr. Sholmes. The point is, even if the snake had gone through the ventilator to the next door cabin, it couldn't have come back without help. What I'm trying to say is that there are a number of reasons why it's difficult to imagine the snake could have had a part in this.
Damn, I actually feel kind of bad now. That's actually making me kind of sad.
She just went for the fucking throat. God bless. I love her.
I think we need to step in and help again, Mr. Naruhodo.
Oh no, you don't mean...
Yes, we need to modify Mr. Sholmes' latest deductions and turn them into the great ones they ought to be.
I had a feeling that was coming. Alright, let's give it a try. Just what I was waiting for, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes. Right. So, cast your eyes down to your wrists again. What? You've done it again!
Your handcuffs are gone.
Where did they go?
Fear not. I shall see they're restored after our work is done. I really wish you'd leave them off. Now, everyone, let us begin. Sherlock Sholmes is proud to present his Logic and Reasoning Spectacular.
Say it.
Hold it, Mr. Sholmes!
Yeah!
Miss Pavlova, moments ago you claimed the father. His death has nothing to do with me. This whole thing has nothing to do with me. Yet you cannot deceive yourself. Yes, when you recall those horrid events, your aching heart smarts with pain. She does have a pained expression on her face.
Yes, that's true. She looks as though Katsuma-sama's death is weighing heavily on her mind.
You're not sure Mr. Sholmes has read it quite correctly, is that it? Could there be some other way to interpret her expression? And...
Let's take a moment and really look very closely at Miss Pavlova.
what the fuck do you think she's doing? That hand, though.
Aching heart.
I don't care about the aching heart. Hand,
What
wrist.
about the other side of it?
Ah, there it is.
There we go.
Yes!
Hi.
Yes, when you recall those horrid events, that claw scratch smarts with pain. Indeed! A simple observation reveals that the wound is fresh. Miss Pavlova, did you in fact receive that scratch sometime last night?
When I think about the young man who died next door, I feel so sad. And when I'm sad, the pain from this wound is worse.
And it is that very pain that evidences your inextricable link to the victim's death. So, when we ask, what was the nature of this intruder that stole into the victim's cabin on that portentous night? Why, naturally, it was the friend with which you boarded this vessel, was it not? Ah, as I suspected. Another telltale glance. Without doubt, your friend is the writhing serpent we see before us. It seems likely that the scratch mark on the back of Miss Pavlova's hand was made by this friend of hers, doesn't it? Except, snakes don't have claws, do they?
No, they don't. They don't even have hands or feet on which claws might grow.
Well then, if that snake isn't her pet, what is? What's the true identity of this friend of hers?
We should follow her gaze, Naruhodo-san. That's where we'll find the answer.
What's up, bitch?
No!
Forget about how you could have brought him aboard on your case, or how he could fit through the ventilator. A true friend always finds a way for you. And what more dependable friend could you ask for than Seaman Biff Stroganoff? That deduction was wanting in every way. Yes, I was wanting you to hear it. I'm quite proud of it. I found myself wanting never to have heard it. I'm quite pained by it. Oh, sorry. I'll try again.
God bless.
I had to once, I'm sorry.
God bless. Oh, itty bitty.
Cat.
Kit.
Was that not it either?
What? Oh, I think you have to investigate it.
Oh, I have to investigate it first.
Yeah.
With this
Wait,
framed
hold on.
photographic print. Oh no. It's the frame that is your friend, isn't it? Because it so beautifully displays whatever you put inside it. What spectacularly contrived logic led you to this mindless conclusion?
He really said, what kind of
Oh,
mental
well,
gymnastics?
It's supposed to be a logic and reasoning spectacular, so I thought I'd contribute to the show. This is my show, Mr. Metaphor. Kindly perform any peculiar experiments on your own stage.
Wow. Yeah, I have to investigate it first.
That's so fucking dumb, man.
What do you mean it's so dumb? You know this case. You know what happened.
Cat.
Look at the photograph in this frame. This must be something Miss Pavlova brought with her when she ran away.
She's exceptionally beautiful, isn't she?
Yes, that's true, but personally, it's the little black creature she's holding that's caught my eye. Maybe we'd better take a closer look at this. Kitten.
Kitten.
But the little cat Miss Pavlova is cuddling here.
Aw, what a cute little kitten. It could vibe with you, couldn't it, Naruhodo-san?
For the blackest outfit.
Black kitten.
I thought she was gonna call him cute for a second.
Shh. Can you do one recording without falling over? Like
Shut
having
up.
something fall, whether that be you, your microphone.
Please. I'm trying here, man.
From the look of this picture, at least, Miss Pavlova seems very attached to it.
Yes!
Yes!
Yes. This is it.
When the music doesn't stop.
When the music continues.
Without doubt, your friend is the little kitten we see before us. Yes! The scratch on the back of your hand makes that abundantly clear.
Oh no.
The whereabouts of this black kitten isn't clear, but what is clear is that you brought the animal with you when you ran away, didn't you?
Darka is my best friend. I couldn't leave her behind.
Darko would appear to be a Russian blue. And yet, this man is taller than me. That fact leaves us in a quandary. The victim's written observations on the night in question tell of a speckled band, whereas regrettably, this specimen's markings do not fit that description in any way. What explanation can we then give, pray? What was this sight that fell upon the victim's eyes last night?
No, don't look at me. This has nothing to do with any of this.
Oh, but it does! You have the answer to this quandary even now, hidden behind your back. Yes, that which you are trying, but failing, to conceal can only be the snake's sloughed skin.
Did you see that? She just took something out of her pocket and hid it behind her back.
If she just left it in her pocket, no one would ever have known.
Oh yes, ploys like that are Mr. Sholmes' specialty. He's ever so cleverly forced.
What? Oh, he's ever so cleverly forced her to reveal something.
Sorry, skip that. I thought
Okay.
seduction was his specialty. Or maybe making me believe that that was a ploy too.
Anyway,
Shut up, I'm not
Holmes Seminole had a good tale. Sassanai.
I won't let you talk shit about Mr. Sholmes.
I find it hard to believe that that's the skin of a snake.
In which case, just what is Miss Pavlova hiding behind your back?
Oh, let's investigate it.
What the fuck? Camera.
Investigate.
Well, it is speckled, and it is a band, but what is it? It seems to be soft and fluffy. A long piece of cloth of some sort. And that looks like a handle at one end.
I think it may be a cat's toy. This sort is common in the West, apparently.
How is that a toy for cats?
Cats like to chase the band around and paw at it. Kittens in particular love that sort of play. You only need to wave it in front of them and they pounce to catch it.
That sounds positively adorable. Present.
Yes!
Yes, the thing you are trying but failing to conceal is, a cat's toy. Precisely! And the true nature of the now infamous speckled band. And it was this toy that you dangled through the ventilator. You waved it around, I presume. Naturally, the victim could not fail to notice it. But why? For what reason? My dear boy, there can only be one answer to that. After her feline friend disappeared through the ventilator into the neighboring cabin, Miss Pavlova attempted to use the speckled cat's toy to incite the creature to return. In summary, the nature of this friend of Miss Pavlova's, which last night infiltrated the scene of the crime, is a blithesome Russian blue breed of cat by the name of Darka. Got him.
Got him.
A truly troublesome feline, young Darka is proving to be. She must be caged once found. You will forgive us for borrowing the photograph of your pet, Miss Pavlova.
Photograph of Miss Pavlova and Dark has been entered to the court record.
Sweet. Not even in court.
It was after I gave her food last night. That's when it happened. She scratched the back of my hand and then ran up the bell cord. Before I could do anything, she disappeared through the ventilator. Darka, she's so naughty.
Beloved kitten.
Oh, music's picking up.
Alrighty. Moving on, we come to the heart of the matter, the grim demise of the victim. How did this young man lose his life, and why? According to the data of which I have been apprised, it would appear there were no visible signs of injury.
How many times have I made that sound?
Yeah, a lot. In fact, the circumstances of the victim's death can only be explained by a terrible venom.
What Mr. Sholmes says is true. There were no signs of a wound anywhere on Katsuma-sama's body.
That's right. Mr. Sholmes seems to be unaware of one very important detail. Kazuma wasn't poisoned.
Yes, it would seem so. Let's give him the information he's missing now.
Where's that autopsy? There it is.
Yeah.
Shit. R.
Yes!
Yes!
In fact, the circumstances of the victim's death can only be explained by the post-mortem report. Ah, yes! I knew it was one or the other.
His neck was...
Indeed. The breaking of the cervical vertebra is fatal. Only that Goliath would be strong enough to survive that. And Stroganoff isn't some immortal freak, you know. The jury is out! Anyway, we have on good authority that the victim's neck was broken. Now, if we take that as fact, we can reasonably imagine that there remains evidence to affirm it at the scene of the crime.
Oh no, could there be...
Yes, an examination of the deceased's body will prove the cause of death conclusively. Kazuma died because his neck was broken. In other words, he was probably struck by something, or someone.
Yes, that's a distinct possibility. As of yet, no weapon has been found, though.
Presumably, Darka didn't silently creep up behind Kazuma and deal him a fatal blow.
I suppose it's possible that he had a fall and hit the ground awkwardly. It could have been a terrible act of misfortune that he broke his neck completely by accident.
Oh, yes. A bad fall could explain it.
It's rather hard to believe of Katsuma-sama, though. He wasn't a clumsy man.
Well, we need to fix this deduction somehow. Is there anything from the scene that could explain what happened? What from the scene could explain what happened?
Man, I wonder.
It's the mark, right?
Yes, it's the mark.
Good.
Yes!
Mark on floor. An examination of mark on floor. Yes, an examination of the mark on the floor will prove the cause of death conclusively. This particular mark, so prominently visible next to the victim's body, is a deposit of shoe polish.
Shoe polish?
Indeed. positively identified by a little analysis device I constructed, which I carry now as a matter of course.
It's shoe polish.
Beeswax, tallow, and dye were my results. The undeniable ingredients of shoe polish. Polish?
Polish.
And the color of the polish is a perfect match to the color of Mr. Hisogi's laced leather shoes. Looking at this mark, it's not hard to imagine what happened. For some reason, Mr. Hisogi must have caught his foot at that point on the floor and tripped.
Please, no.
And, by a dreadful turn of misfortune, caught his neck against some immovable object as he fell to the floor. Suffering a fatal blow to the spine, the victim's vertebrae shattered, and in that instant, he lost his life.
No! I don't know. I don't know anything about this.
Is that really true, Miss Pavlova? What about the evidence left at the scene where Mr. Hisogi lost his life? Yes, the facts are as clear as day to me. You did all you could to conceal the incriminating evidence. But now your involuntary glance betrays the hiding place you chose. That's right. You hid the evidence that links you to the victim's death in that traveling case.
I don't believe it. Katsuma-sama merely tripped over and now he's no more. It can't be true. I refuse to accept it.
I know it's hard to believe, but the mark on the floor does seem to suggest that's what happened. And if this part of Mr. Sholmes' deduction is right, Miss Pavlova is trying to hide some evidence that would prove it. Here in this cabin, somewhere in the direction that she just cast her eyes.
Where, I wonder?
Let's have a good look around. The answer must be here somewhere.
This one's a little difficult to find, so like if you can't find it, I can help you.
I can only move left and right. Waste paper basket. What's in there?
This is a waste paper basket. Perhaps all the first-class cabins have them.
But Miss Pavlova only started occupying this cabin late last night. Presumably there's not much rubbish in there yet. Oh, what's that?
It's a broken piece of glass, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And I feel like I've seen it somewhere before.
If it looks familiar, perhaps it's more than your mind simply playing tricks on you.
Present.
Yes.
That's right. You hid the evidence that links you to the victim's death in that waste paper basket. Here we have a fragment of some intricate glass object, it would seem. One that has a familiar air, in fact. Precisely. We found another piece of broken glass on the floor in Mr. Hisogi's cabin. And as you can see, the two pieces fit together perfectly.
Oh, no.
So, Miss Pavlova, shall we consider what this tells us? Why would it be that part of this glass object, which was evidently broken at the scene of the victim's death, should be found in the waste paper basket in your cabin? You're well acquainted with this glass bell, are you not?
I don't.
I don't know, and that hushed Russian accent of yours won't save you this time, dear girl. Why? Because we have the conclusive evidence linking you to the bell in question.
What?
Take it away, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes. The evidence linking Miss Pavlova and the little glass bell, that would be the photo.
Mm-hmm.
Shit, I
Is
accidentally
the
did.
Yeah, because the cat's wearing it.
If you look at this photograph, look at this photo.
Look at this graph.
If you look at this graph, you can clearly see, hanging from darkest collar, the very glass bell in question. The truth has caught up with you, Miss Pavlova. The young man who lost his life last night did so after a truly inauspicious fall. And the cause of that fateful stumble? Your absent feline friend, Darka! Bang. Fucking gunshots.
No!
I couldn't tell anyone. I'm sorry.
Damn.
Elementsky. Why don't you tell us now, Miss Pavlova? Tell us exactly what happened last night.
It was a little after 1 in the morning. It was so late, but I hadn't had time to feed Darka, so I gave her some food. And then, all of a sudden, she scratched me and jumped out of my hands. People do say that cats become very anxious and nervous in new environments. She was so fast. She disappeared through the ventilator before I could stop her.
And that is how you acquired the rather nasty wound on the back of your hand, I take it?
Yes. And I'd read the, rules on the wall. I knew that I was not allowed Darka with me. Yes, modern science suggests that animals can carry infectious diseases. It's a precaution, really. So I listened and listened, trying to hear if there was some noise in the next cabin. It was very quiet. I was sure if someone was there, he must be sleeping.
So at that point, you thought it safe to try to lure the kitten back again. By dangling the end of the toy through the ventilator and into the adjoining cabin.
Darka always loves this toy, but it didn't work. Nothing worked. I tried using her favorite toy. I tried whistling to her softly, but nothing. She didn't return.
So the faint whistling sound Cosimo wrote about in his diary was Miss Pavlova trying to retrieve her pet. Cats have a propensity to remain hidden in the shadows when frightened.
Yes, so there was nothing else I could do. I just had to wait until she'd calmed down. But then...
Nice stock cat sound effect.
I nearly passed out with shock. I heard her cry out, and then... it was such a dreadful bang. Then afterwards, nothing. It was totally silent.
Cosimo was...
From the appearance of the brown mark on the floor, it seems likely that what you heard was the victim stepping on the glass bell and tripping up. The SS Buria is a large vessel, but even she can pitch and roll violently without warning. If Mr. Isolgi was already off balance as a result of the ship lurching when the kitten got under his feet, the combination of unfortunate factors could easily have caused him to fall over. But what became of the kitten afterwards? In the end, I managed to get her to come back through the ventilator.
Yet Darka is nowhere to be seen.
I must have forgotten to lock my case. Now she's disappeared again.
Gracious, that cat is as insufferably restless as I am. Well, he knows something about himself at least.
When I woke this morning, I heard that a young man in the cabin next to mine had died. I couldn't bring myself to tell anyone what had happened. I was too scared. Scared that they would send me back.
Oh, hold on a minute. What about the snake?
You're right. Where is it?
The snake isn't your friend, Miss Pavlova. Then whose is it? And where did it come from? What on earth is such a dangerous creature doing on board this ship?
Smiling.
Yeah, good snake.
Bad snake, bad snake.
Oh, I didn't say? Snake is my friend. His name is Pirozhko.
I think.
Pirozhko. Hmm?
Huh?
What?
That snake belongs to you.
He escaped from cage when emergency alarm sounded. I was looking for him. I did not expect to find him in here. Yes, how did that snake get into this cabin?
But animals are not permitted on board.
Ha! We were at sea for 1 year! You want me to be so long without close friend? Without someone who understands? Couldn't you find someone a little more human who understands you better? But my dear burly fellow, a gargantuan venomous snake. Surely you can appreciate the danger you're putting everyone in. No venom. Hmm? Piroshko does not have venom. He is harmless, very long but very gentle. He is adorable, like Granny. It's venomless? Yes, now he is hungry, so he is in bad mood, but once I feed him, you will see big smile. And you feed him what? Milk, I suppose? Ha! Like they say they milk chickens? What? Ridiculous! Snakes that drink milk are only in stupid stories. Piroshko eats mouses. Big, fat, round mouses. Oh, so... is that what the mousetrap in the passageway out there was for? Of course. How else can I catch my friend's favorite food? Nothing's just top of the food chain like the look in their eyes right now. Holy fuck.
Aw.
He's actually gone anime.
Oh no, Sholmes, no.
It refuses to drink milk. It can't hear a whistle. It can't climb up a belt cord. And it's not even venomous. How the deuce did something so inept land a starring role?
Thank you,
I'm sorry.
Sholmes. Very cool.
I can't go back. That's right.
Yeah, you can't.
Damn it. It's
It's
not my
in the
fault. I
recording.
did not make up stories. My Piroshko has nothing to do with this incident.
Hmm.
So that's what happened. That's the truth behind my best friend's tragic death. Oh, sorry, I'm supposed to be quiet. Sorry.
Miss Pavlova. I understand the difficult situation you found yourself in, and I do sympathize. But please remember this. A young man lost his life. If you're going to attempt to cover up your guilt with lies, then, and no matter what the circumstances, I cannot forgive you. What are you talking about, Miss Mikotova? What lies? Miss Pavlova just confessed everything. It was just a series of unfortunate events, an accident. I'm no great detective like Mr. Sholmes. I don't have a gift for knowing the truth. But even I can see that was not the truth. Don't you agree, Mr. Naruhodo?
To be perfectly honest, yes. There's a discrepancy in Miss Pavlova's story. I'm sure of it. I just can't quite put my finger on it. I confess, I was intending to let Scotland Yard deal with any outstanding issues on this matter. I am only present here for a very specific reason. The truth is, you, Mr. Naruhodo, are simply a distraction. A distraction? I do hope you've not been finding your shackles too uncomfortable. Not again! When did he do that? Especially as there are no risks as a result of my intervention. I was rather hoping I could resolve matters before we made our next port call. You were, Mr. Sholmes? Yes, but I overlooked one important detail. The deceased young man was a very close companion of yours, was he not? Yes. He was almost my closest friend. He would have my freedom, even. In that case, we must follow this to its conclusion. No further distractions. You must uncover the real truth here, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, whatever that may be. The key to this is the discrepancy in Miss Pavlova's story, I'm sure. If I can chase that down, maybe the truth will become clear. The truth about how you really died. About how that scene in your cabin really came to be.
Here we go!
Alright, I'll see what I can do. Excellent.
Thank you, Mr. Naruhodo.
So then, shall we begin? Yes! What we should ponder first is the victim who lost his life in a cabin that was bolted shut from the inside. Was this truly an unfortunate accident? Or was it in fact no accident at all? That is what we must establish in the first instance.
But we've already established it, haven't we? The man tripped over the kitten that had climbed into his cabin via the ventilator. Tragic, yes, but still an accident.
Wait! Let's just take a step back. Makes sense if that's really what happened, does it?
I'm gonna have to ask you to spell it out for me, I'm afraid.
It's starting to take shape now. There's a clear contradiction between the facts and Miss Pavlova's story here. The evidence is right there in Kazuma's cabin. It's undeniable. His death couldn't possibly have been a mere accident.
Really?
Let us show our hand, Mr. Naruhodo. Time to present the evidence. The evidence that proves unequivocally that the victim's death was no mere accident. What is no mere accident? Wait, I actually gotta think about this. Hang on.
I'm pretty sure it's the.
I would think it was this, because like, oh yeah,
Isn't
she
it
has the thing.
Isn't it the writing?
I mean, the writing would make more sense. I could like feasibly make a thread out of that, but I feel like it's no mere accident. It's like, oh yeah, he fell over and died instantly. His spine shattered then, so no, that doesn't make any sense.
Well, yeah, but it says wardrobe.
Right. Well, yeah, but how would he be able to write that before dying?
Well, yeah, also, yeah, but like, why would he, if he could write it at all, why would he write wardrobe? So I think it's that.
Yes!
The truth is clearly recorded in this photographic print. There's no way that Mr. Asogi could have left this message on the floor.
That's script. It's Russian, isn't it?
Indeed it is. The word written means wardrobe.
I see what you mean. Most people would leave a dying message in their native language. Japanese, in this case. But maybe he was studying Russian. It is a simple language. He could have picked it up very fast.
It doesn't seem likely. That's actually not the point. It makes no difference whether he knew Russian or not.
Sorry, what do you mean?
Exactly what I said before. There's no way that Mr. Asogi could have left this message on the floor. And the reason why is clearly explained in here. Damage to the cervical vertebra resulting in instant death. Instant death. Which means, after the victim fell to the floor, he couldn't possibly have written anything, because he was already dead.
That's not the only reason either. There's something else we found in Mr. Asogi's cabin. A remnant of something that couldn't possibly have been there, if what Miss Pavlova's told us was true. What?
So, Sata-san has noticed it too, then. Putting this message on the floor aside, there's something else that gives the truth away. Another piece of evidence that proves this was no accident. In other words...
知らないよな.
It would be the mark on the floor, right?
I think.
I assume it would be. Because it's like, oh yeah.
Oh, I think less than the mark is the bell.
Yeah, it's the bell.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I said, like, oh yeah, it could have been either one of those two.
Alright, let's go for it.
Yes.
Because she has half of the bell in her room, yet the door
Yeah.
was locked. This piece of broken glass next to the mark on the floor.
But that's the glass bell the kitten had around its neck. We all already know about that. It was broken in half when the victim tripped over the cat and fell. So we already have a satisfactory explanation. Where's the flaw in that logic?
Unfortunately, there's a very big flaw. A fatal flaw.
What?
If that's really what happened, then how did one half of the bell end up back here in this cabin?
Yes. Remember that we found the other half of the glass bell in that waste paper basket. Would you care to explain that, Miss Pavlova? Oh no.
Both these pieces of evidence clearly point to the same conclusion. That when Mr. Asogi died last night in his cabin, there was someone else in the room. And that same person deliberately arranged the scene to disguise the truth, in order to cover up his or her own guilt.
Yes. There was someone else present in Mr. Asogi's.
You are wasting time. Someone else was there? Ha, of course, we know this. What are you talking about? Bulkhead was bolted shut from inside. There was no way in or out.
Oh, yes.
And only other person in cabin when young student died was you.
Yes.
It's true. I was in the cabin when it happened. You were shut inside the cabin wardrobe, to be precise about the details. But I don't know Russian. There's no way I would have left that message. Not would have. There's no way you could have left that message, to be precise about the details. Would you mind? Forgive me, my dear fellow. As I was saying...
He's like, I've got the stage right now.
The person in question wrote this word, wardrobe, in Russian on the floor, in an attempt to incriminate me for the crime, even though I had been asleep in there for the entire time.
And then, the same person picked up the broken glass bell that had fallen to the floor, for fear of it becoming evidence that would show how Mr. Asogi really died. But why wouldn't this person have taken all the pieces of the bell away? Leaving half behind was always going to raise questions.
Yes, well, it was past 1 o'clock in the early hours of the morning. The cabin would have been quite dark. Sorry, I had a vocal weird thing there. The single small lamp suspended from the ceiling would barely have cast any light onto the floor there. Little wonder then that the culprit failed to notice a fragment of the tiny item.
You all suspect me, don't you?
No more snake. Seaman Stroganoff. Nina's woman of sea. She is daughter of strong sailor. 2 years ago, they noticed her dancing skills and she went away to join ballet company. But before, she was dancer on this ship, a member of ship's band. You do not accuse ship's angel of being criminal. So that's it. You say that when young student died, Nina was there in his cabin. But that is not possible! I give my tooth! Well, looks like you're gonna have to lose a tooth then. Most interesting. And why would you give your tooth, Fred? How can you be so sure? You're a great detective, you should know! Look truth in eyes. Cabin bulkhead. Oh my god, was fucking
Felt
killed.
that.
My
You
thing
good?
was actually killing.
Get water, bitch.
I did. It was bolted shut from inside. Nobody could go in the cabin. Not Nina, not anybody. Or you want to tell me that killer can walk through locked doors? Yet, it's impossible! He's right.
But wait, I've read about this in detective stories. People often tie thread around door latches so they can open and close them from the outside. Satos, please.
Red, are you stupid? These bulkheads are not barn doors! Certainly not. These are watertight doors. Expect to find on any modern steamship. Constructed of heavy steel. Not a gap in sight. No threads or needles or magnets could have been used.
No, of course not. I thought so too. But Mr. Naruhodo suggested it earlier, so...
Son, how could you shit on me like that?
So Seaman Stroganov has a valid point. The cabin door couldn't have been bolted shut from the outside.
Not necessarily. What? I put it to you that I could bolt this cabin door without laying a finger on it. And in this very cabin, we can see the traces of the method I have in mind being used before.
I don't believe it.
Well, Mr. Naruhodo, I believe you know what I mean, don't you? Way to shut the bolt of the cabin door from the outside. One way does spring to mind, yes.
Do you really know what Mr. Sholmes means, Mr. Naruhodo?
Yes, and so should you, because we've seen it happen. Indeed we have! So, would you care to do the honors, Mr. Naruhodo? Point out to the telling signs of the method that is used to slide the cabin door bolt across from the outside. It's the bookshelf.
It sure is.
Yes!
Look at the bookcase there. See how all the books and things on it have toppled over?
That must have happened when the ship made its emergency stop before. Yes, that's right. It's a very powerful vessel, after all. When the engines are thrown into reverse, a violent jolt goes across the entire ship. Any small objects that aren't fastened down are bound to fall over. I believe... Yes, it's what's known as the force of inertia acting on the objects.
Is there nothing Sato-san doesn't know? Or that isn't in her book, at least? Well, whatever it's called, the same force that pushed over those books on the bookcase also made something else in this cabin move. The bolt on the cabin door. It was very obvious just after the emergency stop that the ship made earlier. We'd come into this cabin not long before, and we hadn't bolted the door. But then... Yeah, I don't think...
Oh, Hosonaga. Hello, is anybody in there? Said if you need assistance.
Oh, that sounds like...
Inspector Hosonaga. Oh, yes! That's it! When the ship stopped suddenly, the bolt flew across and locked the door.
Yes, it's made of metal, but it's small and light enough to be moved by the ship's sudden change of speed. Or the force of inertia, if you want to call it that.
Are you trying to say that last night, after Mr. Hasogi was killed, the SS Buria made another emergency stop?
When I woke up this morning and looked around the cabin, I thought it looked a little odd. All the books on the shelves had toppled over, and all the ornaments. It was almost as if someone had run their hand across the shelves and deliberately knocked everything over.
Oh, yes, I remember that. And I stood them all up again, didn't I?
Then when we came into this cabin, we were surprised to see the same thing in here. All the books and everything had toppled over, just like Mr. Hasogi's cabin.
Oh my!
Do you have anything to say about this, Miss Pavlova? Are you out of your mind? You say Buria made an emergency stop?
It does seem a little far-fetched. How could that have possibly happened? Unless you're saying that the culprit is actually someone from the engine room.
Oh, it is simple enough.
Hmm?
Are you forgetting the button in the passageway outside? Used to trigger the emergency alarm?
Oh, yes, of course. There was a notice, wasn't there, telling you only to press the buttons in time of emergency.
On dark nights when the fog is dense, the captain cannot afford to rely on the eyes of his lookout alone. Hence the placement of a number of buttons around the vessel to allow any crewman to raise the alarm. The sort of button one is almost compelled to press to satisfy one's curiosity.
Yeah, I get
Wait!
that.
It was you? When the button is pressed, two things happen in the interests of safety. The emergency alarm bell rings and the vessel comes to a complete stop. As indeed it did a little earlier today.
So he just fucking pressed it because he wanted to. God bless.
Mr. Sholmes, surely it wasn't you who...
As I always say, a button has but one purpose in life.
To be
To be
pressed!
pressed! Whatever the occasion! Sounds almost proud of himself. How dare you mess with ship! I report you to Captain! You are in much trouble now. Oh, my throat. Now, I'm sure all that can wait until later. Let us not overlook the fact that we have now learned a valuable lesson. When the vessel makes an emergency stop, the bolts on the cabin door slide closed. So, what must we now consider?
Yes, it all comes down to one thing now. Last night, after what happened to Mr. Athogi, did this ship make an emergency stop? Or did it not? Sound.
You are idiots! Furia's huge ship with many passengers. If we make emergency stop, even in the middle of night, there would be chaos everywhere! What are your thoughts, Mr. Naruhodo? Well, it's certainly possible that some kind of emergency happened this night. We have evidence to support that idea.
Really? What evidence, Mr. Naruhodo?
Fascinating. Do show us, my good man. What evidence promotes the theory that some emergency gripped this vessel last night?
The ship's
log.
log. Mm.
Seaman Stroganoff, it's your duty to patrol the first-class area of the ship. Isn't that right? No,
Duh.
that's correct. Why? The ship's log here. This would be where you record the details of your duties. What are you doing with it? That is mine! You rather carelessly left it at the top of the little makeshift bureau in the passageway out there. But as responsible passengers, we took it into our care with a mind to return it to you later. I left it there on purpose. That is where I always put it. The point is, looking at what you usually record, it's clear that under normal circumstances, you write the phrase, nothing to report every 30 minutes. But from 2 o'clock last night until first light this morning, nothing was recorded at all.
Nothing recorded in the log.
That is... Duh, because nothing happened. But if nothing happens, you would normally write nothing to report, wouldn't you? Indeed so. Which tells us that shortly after 2 a.m., something happened here aboard the SS Boarding. Something sufficiently significant to make you forget to fill in the ship's log, in fact.
Are you suggesting that the ship really did make an emergency stop in the middle of the night?
Stop talking rubbish!
Rubbish.
Rubbish.
If I'm perfectly honest, I find that a little hard to believe myself.
Huh? Why?
Well, because if something as major as an emergency stop really had happened, surely all of us would have noticed. That's very true. Thanks to the emergency stop we experienced earlier, we all know what it feels like now. The ship lurched so violently, and the alarm bell was so loud. I can't imagine that anybody would sleep through that, even if it happened in the dead of night.
Well, no. That's a good point. What of The throb.
Sorry, what do you mean?
Your head, man. The throbbing of your head since this morning. We've all suffered with it.
Oh, yes. I have had a headache, you're right. In fact, I haven't been feeling myself since I woke up today. Nor have I. My head has been feeling heavy ever since dawn.
Yes, you've all been afflicted, haven't you? Just as I suspected. He's right. My head's been throbbing today, too. Since eating dinner yesterday evening, everything has felt sort of hazy. I can't really remember anything that happened after I climbed back inside the wardrobe. And the first thing I noticed this morning was the throbbing pain in my head. I had already been dragged out of the wardrobe and had those handcuffs put on me by that point. Why didn't I wake up when all that was happening to me? Tell me, Mr. Naruhodo, you boarded this vessel as a stowaway, didn't you? Oh, well, yes. Sorry. The stowaway class of accommodation doesn't usually include meals. What did you survive on? Well, Kazuma looked after me. He was always happy to share his meals. So you enjoyed some of the whole roast chicken dish that was served yesterday evening, I take it? Yes. In fact, I had all of that. Kazuma wasn't fond of chicken.
Kazuma fried
really?
chicken.
So the victim didn't eat any of the chicken at all. That's right. He didn't touch it. Is that relevant? My dear fellow, does that not strike you?
Oh, Mr. Sholmes, do you mean to say...
How many times have I said that line?
Yeah.
Do you mean... Could it be? That there was
Are you
something wrong
saying-
with the chicken?
Please, Sato,
I do.
speak.
No! Really? Is that really true? The meal prepared for the passengers last night had been tampered with. Are we almost done?
Yeah, we're near the end of the case.
I know we are, but like, oh my god.
Yeah, it's
I know
taking a
what
while.
happens. Tampered with by the addition of a soporific designed to induce a very deep slumber in those who consumed it.
A sleeping drug.
Do you mean? Ever did this list every meal with a sleeping drug so no one would notice the ship's emergency stop?
Mr. Naruhodo, of course that's not what Mr. Sholmes means. What a far-fetched idea.
Precisely. Lacing every meal of every passenger on board with a soporific drug would certainly be impossible. Unless, that is, every single member of the crew was a conspirator.
What? Mr. Sholmes!
Well, Seaman. I'm sorry to say that any more deception in this matter will get you nowhere. If you refuse to talk, there would have to be an inquiry made through the shipping company, of course. And were that to happen, every member of the crew, and the captain himself, would be hauled over the coals for aiding and abetting a renegade.
Oh my god. Right. Nikolina, just tell your story, please.
Please, no more. I will tell everything. I cannot make problems like this for everyone anymore.
These crewmen are your former comrades, I believe.
My mouth just made a weird noise.
Yes. So when I decided to run away, I asked them to help me.
We all agreed to help. Everyone together. She threw away everything. Her fame in the ballet. Mother Russia. We wanted to help our angel.
I don't believe it.
You are right. We put sleeping drug in chicken last night. Yes, I remember now. I did notice chewing on a lump of something strange and bitter at one point. Duh. We could not make all drug... How do you say? Dissolve? Talk about heavy seasoning. At midnight, in waters near Shanghai, we brought our angel on board. She was helped by a comrade on shore with a small fishing boat, while all the passengers of the SS Burya slept soundly, thanks to the almost magical effects of the slumber-inducing potion their evening meals had contained. So, if that's what happened, the only people awake on the ship last night were the crew, people who disliked chicken, and the newly boarded passenger, Miss Pavlova. And that means it would have been possible for you. You could have used the emergency stop trick to lock Kazuma's cabin door.
But how does that make sense? Surely every cabin door would have ended up locked in that case, and there would have been complete chaos.
Oh, I wouldn't say so.
What?
Of course. Just like us, all the other passengers would have eaten their evening meal of chicken in their cabins, after which they would have been overwhelmed by tiredness because of the sleeping drug. Quite, and accordingly, all passengers were already in their cabins for the night.
Yes!
The overwhelming majority of passengers would habitually sleep with their cabin doors bolted anyway, and so not one of them would have found it remarkable to find the door locked in the morning. In summary, in order to fasten the bolt of a single cabin door on the ship, the culprit brought the entire vessel to an emergency stop in the early hours of the morning. You have
Yeah, no
talked long
shit.
time and said many things. No
You really
shit,
have.
Herlock!
We really have. It's been like an hour and a half. I thought that we would end this case in like, I don't know, an hour or so, but man, it keeps going.
The point is what I said earlier. There was somebody else present on the scene when the victim lost his life last night. Someone who left a message in Russian.
Get closer to your mic, please.
Attempt to incriminate another.
Beautiful, thank you.
Someone who tried desperately to hide the broken fragments of glass that would reveal the culprit's identity.
There we go.
Someone who used the ship's emergency stop procedure in order to lock a door. All told, a busy night.
But I don't know about any of this. I'm just a little girl.
Speak with your long English words and explain your clever ideas. But I am Sailor. Sailors don't listen to long, boring stories. We don't believe. Sailors like me. We trust only what we see with our eyes. A laudable trait. What? I am quite of the same disposition, my good man. Observation to me is everything. Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, yes? Do you hear it? That accusatory cry of guilt on the wind.
What accusatory crime of guilt?
Sorry, you've lost me. Proof of involvement, man. But you can't hear such a call with your ears. No. You must hear it with your eyes. For observation's the basis of all deduction. What are you talking about? Oh my god, I have no energy. I believe the time has come
Oh my god.
for one final logic. Next time!
Alright, let's try and finish this.
Logic and reason expect everything, right? To expose the truth. So, Mr. Naruhodo, your assistance, if you please. With what exactly, Mr. Sholmes? With observation, my dear fellow, just as I said, of these two prevaricators.
Close enough.
Prevaricators. Observation.
If you remember, Mr. Naruhodo, we know that somebody tried to fabricate evidence, don't we? By tampering with the scene of Mr. Asogi's death. What we're looking for is some trace of evidence that one of these two was there when it happened.
Precisely! You are delightfully quick to grasp my meaning. Alright, I'll see what I can see. So we're looking for a trace of evidence that shows someone else was there last night when Kazuma died.
I have no idea what it could be,
No.
honestly. Big arm. Chunky arm.
His arms like tree trunks, doesn't he? Hairy tree trunks.
Yes, he certainly has sailor's arms. He's a born man of the sea.
Even if I had been awake, I couldn't have done anything about being dragged out of that wardrobe by this man.
Naruhodo-san? Are you alright? You seem to be lost in thought.
Oh, sorry. Blame those hairy tree trunks. Hmm. Hey, what's
What?
that?
Eek.
Eek.
Let's investigate. Oh, look at this! I can just imagine them, like, physically moving around them.
Like, the two of them are just standing in place, and then, like, Ria and Sasato are just, like, hanging around his ass, like, wow, look at this!
Look at this! It's some kind of stain in an unusual place.
Yes, you're right. It looks like ink, if I'm not mistaken.
Ink. Look at the color, too. It's clear where this came from. The cursor back on it. God, game. Jesus.
Hi.
Seaman Stroganoff. You seem to have quite a large purple stain on the back of your white uniform there. Oh, yes, I don't know where the dirt
comes from.
Oh, yeah,
Oh, I
it's
thought
you.
I was doing it.
Shit, I don't know. I
can do it fine.
could just give him, like, because he's like, ah, you know, like, that kind of part of your voice. I could just do, like, a normal, like, what? I don't know what you're talking about. Like, that's way easier. On my voice.
Okay, if you're... Okay, let me know if you want me to
that,
take over
yeah,
then, though.
fear not. I will be... I'm doing this, so... Yeah.
Hey, let's go for it.
So nothing in particular comes to mind about the stain? What are you trying to say? It would appear that the significance of this stain has escaped your attention, Seaman. Allow us to make it plain. It's a very large purple stain on the back of Seaman Stroganoff's uniform.
And I think what made it is clear.
My God, say it! Indeed it is! So, Mr. Naruto, present the evidence that proves it. My pleasure. Alright then, the evidence that proves that what the stain on the back of his uniform really is... Oh my God, Ace Attorney, please!
I'm gonna lose my mind.
Do it already!
Please, just Nikolina, spill the backstory, babe.
Yes, it's this photograph, and the ink it shows. That's what caused the stain on your uniform. Ink? A rather unusual color of ink. Purple.
Nice.
The penny drops. At last. Now you see the significance. The Russian word on the floor next to the victim's body was written in purple ink. And the stain on the back of your uniform is ink of exactly the same color. If the ink had been dry, it couldn't possibly have stained your uniform in that way. Which means... you must have been present in the cabin, in the moments immediately after the ink was spilled.
Fuck.
Alright, yes, it was me. I did it. Everything. I arranged everything in Dead Student's cabin to make it look like every wardrobe man did it. And I pressed button to make Maria do emergency stop and bolt cabin door shut. I did everything so no one would suspect our angel.
B, please.
Don't worry. Let me do talking. Please. It was after 1 in the morning. I was on duty patrolling passageway. Then our angel came to me. She was white like sheet.
B, please, you must help me.
I went with her. The door to cabin number 1 was open. When I looked inside, I saw student boy on floor. What happened here?
Please, don't tell anyone. My little one. My little furry friend.
Everything that happened in cabin is like Angel told. The kid escaped through the ventilator into Mr. Isolgi's cabin. Then he tripped over it and broke his neck when he fell onto the floor.
How the hell did she...
What?
This isn't the full story, I know. Hold on. Let's continue.
Yes, that is right.
So after the incident when the cat ran away, Miss Pavlova then visited the cabin next to hers.
Only to find its occupant lying lifeless on the floor. She said she was worried when she heard sound of something falling on the floor. When she went to look. No, Angel. The door was not locked, so she opened to look, and you already know what happened after.
There's just one thing, if you wouldn't mind.
What?
When you went to Mr. Isolgi's cabin, Miss Pavlova, was he already dead? Why?
I already told you! When Nina opened door of student's cabin and looked inside.
I was asking Miss Pavlova.
Well, Miss Pavlova?
Oh. Yes, that is right. I saw him. It was dark and he was wearing black, but he was on the floor, not moving. I was scared. I understand. And I believe you.
So is that finally it now?
Nope.
We discovered the real truth about Kazuma's death at last?
Nope. There's still more.
Something very nearly slipped my mind. Holmes. This photograph. Yes, I took this myself, you know.
That's thick.
The cause of death was a broken neck. Therefore, the victim died instantly. And the unfortunate incident that precipitated these events, a kitten on which the victim stumbled. However, if those are the facts, there is one particular area in this photograph that seems to be somewhat unnatural. What do you mean unnatural? What are your thoughts on the matter, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh, well...
I'm gonna be totally honest with you, I'm totally blanking.
Kazuma tripped and fell. By some terrible stroke of bad luck, broke his neck. Which part of this photograph print seems unnatural? I know what it is.
It's his face?
It's his hand.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He's clutching something.
Alright, if he really fell due to an unfortunate accident, then this fist just doesn't seem quite right. The exact same thought occurred to me. In a fall, one's instinct is to open the palms flat.
That's right.
Yet here we see the victim with his left hand tightly balled into a fist. Almost, you might say. As though he were gripping something. What do you mean? Simply that I took the liberty of investigating the victim's fist a short while ago. You did? And what, pray, do you imagine I found in there, my dear fellow?
Mr. Sholmes, show us, please.
Why, of course, my dear madam. Would I keep you in suspense?
Yes.
This is what I found.
Oh, a crescent moon with a little gemstone in the middle.
Yes, you're right. A crescent moon. It's very pretty, but what does it tell us?
Wow.
Why are you
we're
here?
just done with this. Well, I mean, look at the earring right there that you can't
Damn,
see.
I wonder. Wow.
It tells us nothing. Not so sure. That crescent moon looks familiar somehow. I'm sure
Wow.
I've seen it somewhere before.
Typical anime protagonist. Can we skip this dialogue? I don't want to read it.
Observation, Mr. Naruhodo. That is the key. What? The truth is now tantalizingly close.
The truth is
It's
now
been
tantalizingly clear.
tantalizingly close for the past 2 hours. We've been in this room
For 2 hours. And Hosanaga's been standing there doing nothing. He has not contributed to the conversation.
He's an inspector who is like a perfect investigation. Perfect. Nothing less than the best. Flawless shit. Yet he can't figure this out.
He's... Literally, Hosanaga's whole stick is that, like, he just doesn't do anything.
Bro, what are you saying? That makes no sense. Prove it.
Absolutely not. He's like...
Oh my fucking god.
He's like the Byakuya of this game, except, like, worse. Tell us, Naegi. But, like, worse.
I feel like everyone has that part of him, like, tell them. Come on, Naegi. Well then, Makoto. Like, show them what I'm talking about.
Fuck, man.
How did that crescent moon come to be in Kazuma's clenched fist? This is the final clue, the last piece of the puzzle. Ask yourself, what does this little crescent moon mean? What significance has it? And observe! Find the answer with your own eyes!
Damn, I fucking wonder where.
Oh, the fucking wonder, buddy. Oh, I need to examine it first because it's not going to say earring.
She has such petite ears among that beautiful hair, like little pink shells.
I don't give a fuck about her hair, Susato. Quit.
You're so sick of this shit. Like, it's late. Like, we were supposed to be in bed, like 30 minutes ago at this point.
I was like, oh yeah, we could probably finish the case today. And I mean, I think we can, but like, still, this is painful.
It's fun though. It's fun because it's painful.
Fun.
It's like, oh my god. Do we
like,
need
yeah.
actually like 100 lines of text to focus on one piece of the clue that we already can deduce? There's something dangling down from your ear.
Yes, that's an earring. Wait,
Look, it's the same shape.
Oh!
Whoa!
No doubt now, Shirley. Fucking.
Shirley, don't call me Shirley.
I'm serious.
Yes.
I'm serious. Don't call me Shirley. It's pavlova on your ear there.
Next time we play, we should start earlier in the day. Ah!
What? Your other here. There seems to be a crescent moon missing. A little link holding it on must have broken, I suppose.
Get a little closer to your mic, sir.
I'm quiet. Now, the missing crescent moon was found in the victim's clenched fist. Fished. I don't give a shit anymore.
Fish.
Believe there is only one logical. Did you agree, Mr. Naruto? Yes, I do. How many times?
Don't you agree, Mr. Naruto?
Wouldn't you agree with me, Mr. Naruto?
Mr. Naruto.
Naruto.
Naruto. Ryanosuke Naruto.
Hodo. Miss Pavlova, Mr. Asogi must have grasped that crystal. Hold it from your ear. After just a moment, it fell to the floor.
You're a little quiet still.
No, in other words, last night, Mr. Asogi's cabin, you witnessed the moments where the moon fell with your own eyes. In fact, you were quite literally at arm's length from him.
Yeah, you fucking tried, beef man.
The question is, why did Mr. Asogi do that? Why did he pull your earring from your ear? Hold it in his clenched fist. It's fine.
oh no.
How many times have you said that? I'm gonna eat you alive.
Oh.
Oh my god, spill the tea.
Yes, please, Miss Pavlova, tell us the truth. Last night, what did you do to Kazuma?
Oh wait, no, it's Niet. Whatever. Finally! Finally! Fucking finally. Okay. Okay. No, this is my monologue. I get to perform.
Okay, I will just drink water. You have fun.
When I think about everything that happened yesterday, it was too much. Running away, the fishing boat in the middle of the night, trying to climb onto this huge ship. And then, when I was at last in this cabin, and I could relax after this horrible long day, couldn't believe it when she disappeared through the ventilator. I tried to call her with a little whistle. I tried waving her favorite toy, but nothing worked. The echo would not come back.
Oh, it's a Sluggy.
What are you doing here at this time of night, Inspector? Oh. I'm sorry. I thought it was a friend of mine.
The young man from your country, he was very polite and kind.
Predator.
He helped me to find Berka, and he promised not to tell anyone. But then, when I had my friend in my arms again, and I was going to leave the man's cabin...
Just a moment! Sorry, but...
Oh, yes?
I'm sure I know your face. I've seen you somewhere before. Of course. You're Nikolina Pavlova, aren't you? The Russian ballerina.
No, I don't know that name. My heart nearly stopped when he said that. He knew who he was. How could this man from a land in the faraway east know a Russian ballerina?
Yes, I saw your performance in Japan. The beauty of the ballet made a deep impression on me. But what are you doing on this ship? I'm sure I read that your ballet company was performing in Shanghai at the moment.
I can't fool him. I have to tell him the truth, and hope he doesn't tell anyone. I have no other choice.
I see. So you've run away.
Please, please keep my secret. Don't tell anyone.
Give me a moment. I could use another opinion here.
He's going to pull that cord. He's going to tell the captain. Why did I think I could trust him? Then it happened. Everything at once. It was only a second, but it felt like forever. Wait, I shouted. And then... Berka jumped out of my arms and down to the young man's feet. And... as he turned around to look at me, I pushed him. I don't even know why. I don't know why I did it. I was just so scared. And I had to stop him from telling anyone about me.
And that's when you went to fetch help? From Seaman Stroganoff, who was on duty out in the passageway. I heard Nina cry out and thought on the floor, so I ran to her. She was standing at cabin door shaking like a leaf. She looked at me and said,
Help me, Beef. If they find out, help me. Please, I have nowhere to go.
so you decided to help. And that's when you arranged things in Cosmo's cabin, to make it look like I did it. So that no one would suspect the passenger in the cabin next door. Yes. I went into cabin and I looked around to make sure there was nothing to show Nina was there. And then I found Stowaway in wardrobe, still sleeping. Right. That's when he found me.
So you worked out a plan to lay the blame on the Stowaway.
Man, I feel kind of bad for being like, oh, I'm so tired. Oh, get it over with. Because like everybody who's watching this for the first time is gonna get like such a bad impression.
I tried doing my best for that little.
You did really fucking good.
Thank you.
Proud. It's 10:30 at night, 10:45 actually.
45.
So be proud. You may be
you.
tired, but you can still act like a goddamn queen.
Woo! We love to hear it.
I closed wardrobe doors and put back strange paper sign. Luckily for me, it's the only reason Sato-san started to believe me when I said I was innocent. I dragged young man's body to a good place and used ink that was spilling to write on floor. I wrote, so that person who found him would look inside wardrobe and find stowaway. And tell me, what of the glass bell?
It was by my feet, so I picked it up.
I see.
But it was dark in the cabin. I didn't notice the other half.
Then Angel went back to her cabin and I finished job. By pressing the emergency alarm button in the passageway. Yes. Accordingly, the SS Buria did indeed come to an emergency halt at a little after 2 a.m., thus enticing the bolt on the cabin door to slide shut, creating the locked room mystery. There's still one thing I don't understand, Miss Pavlova.
What?
Well, you said that you told Kazuma about the fact that you'd run away from your homeland. It's because you were worried he was going to tell the captain that you pushed him. Isn't that right?
Yes.
Even if he had pulled the bell cord and called for the captain of the ship, aren't you friends with every member of the crew? Why would that have been a problem?
It was what he said first that made me scared.
What he said first? What are you doing here at this time of night, Inspector? Oh. I'm sorry. I thought it was a friend of mine.
He said an inspector was his friend. Ah, yes, meaning me. Who was supposed to be acting as his bodyguard. I thought that if police knew about me, they would arrest me. So before I could pull the bell cord, May I stop you a moment, please, Miss Pavlova? It just doesn't seem to make sense. I mean, was Mr. Asogi really going to pull the bell cord? I don't know.
No, this is short. Don't worry about it.
I know. Like,
Well, yeah, it keeps going, but like we're at the denouement.
we're
you
at
know?
we're at the very end. I know,
Yeah.
and I'm not talking right now, so I'm fine. I'm just like, come on, guys.
What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo?
All right, nope, never mind. Well, I'm not Kazuma, so I can't know for certain. But he was a man of his word. If he told you he wouldn't give your secret away, then he wouldn't have done.
No, he was walking over to it. He was going to pull the cord. He was going to make them send me back.
Well, Mr. Naruhodo, the day's work is not yet done, it seems. There's
This
one
is
more
the last
deduction
fucking
to make.
thing, please.
What? Another deduction?
Please.
Yes. What action was the victim really about to take at that moment? Can we determine whither the young man's gaze was directed? First, consider the victim's location within his cabin. That's easy. I remember every detail of that room. I mean, yes, I spent quite a lot of time in the wardrobe, but still. That cabin has been my home for this entire voyage.
So this is how the cabin looked last night, when Miss Pavlova visited Kazuma-sama.
Yes, it's exactly how it was. Are you ready then, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes! If there's one thing I've learned today, it's that a simple gaze can reveal all manners of truths. And not only that, in order to draw the right conclusion, you can't afford to be out by even a little bit when you're following the gaze to where it lands. So, when he turned away from Miss Pavlova, What exactly was Kazuma looking at? Boink.
Take that!
Whoa! What was that? Take
Whoa.
that.
Considering everything that had happened last night, certainly it may have looked as though Kazuma was going to ring the bell cord.
Yes. However,
What is directly beside the bell cord? The wardrobe.
The wardrobe.
And more importantly, what was inside the wardrobe? The man's great friend, sleeping soundly.
Miss Pavlova, please, think back very carefully. What were Mr. Asogi's exact words last night?
Give me a moment. I could use another opinion here.
Another opinion.
Yes, but not from a member of the crew. No, Mr. Asogi intended to consult his close friend on the matter. To see if, between them, they might be able to help in some way, no doubt.
Oh, no! Sadly, we can't know the truth for certain now. It's too late for that. But I wish you had made sure of what Mr. Asogi was looking at. Things may have ended very differently if you had.
Miss Pavlova. That's a new sprite. I want to thank you for finally admitting the truth.
I do too. God bless.
But, unfortunately, the truth is, a man lost his life because of what you did. And that will never change. I hope you'll never forget that.
I'm sorry. Really, I'm so sorry.
hey, nice bite or nice scratch mark there. Nice missing
Healed.
scratch mark. Does it? No. Yeah.
And so, at long last...
At long last. There's a cutscene after this too.
Yeah, I know there is. The mystery surrounding the tragic incident on the SS Buria was finally laid to rest.
Wait, give me a second. Give me a second.
Okay. Alrighty. We're back.
What will happen to Miss Pavlova now, then?
Once we reach Great Britain, she'll be handed over to the British police at Scotland Yard.
What about the fact that she ran away from Russia? Won't the Russians try to repatriate her? Yeah, I said that right.
Repatriate, maybe. Apparently the English detective can speak to the immigration office and sort all that out.
Mr. Sholmes can do that? So she won't be going back to Russia, then?
No, I don't think so. Even if she wanted to return in the future, I doubt she would be able to. She ran away, so now she's in exile for life.
See. I'm sorry. Oh. Seaman Stroganoff? I wanted to help our angel, no matter what. But I didn't think about you. About how you lost a good friend. I will go with Nina. I will give myself to British police. That's kind of you. In the meantime, thank you for letting me go free again. Kazuma's death feels like such a waste. But... well, do what you can for Miss Pavlova, won't you?
Duh. Now he's out of the plot.
Well, I'm afraid you need to pack now. We're due to arrive in Hong Kong tomorrow. As much as it pains me, I'm going to have to hand you over to the consul to arrange your passage back to Japan.
Yes. I did stow away, after all. I couldn't really expect any different.
So, you should get back to your cabin now.
Looks like my study tour to Great Britain is over before it's even begun, then.
To think that only days ago, Cosimo and I were laughing together about how we tear up the streets of London. It seems like a distant memory now. Oh, what's that? Is it someone weeping? Sato-san?
Naruhodo-san, I didn't know you had returned.
Oh, well, I haven't been back long. Inspector Hosonaga just told me I should pack. You know, ready to leave the ship tomorrow and all that.
I still can't believe this has happened. I can't believe someone's life can be over just like that.
Sato-san.
He had such grand ideas for this visit to Great Britain, so many dreams, and now they've been cruelly taken away, just as he has. I thought I could never forgive the person responsible, but now we know the truth, that it was just an accident, just a silly series of mishaps. It's too much, Naruhodo-san. It's just too much.
Yes, I know. Sholmes?
I wish there was something I could say.
Yeah.
Inspector, my duty was to see Asogi-san safely to Great Britain, but I failed. It caused his two closest friends great pain and suffering as a result. I've let everyone down. And I will do anything to make up for my terrible blunder.
Nobody blames you, Inspector. And I'm free again now. At least... Huh?
Son of a bitch. Hello again! Surprise, Mr. Naruhodo!
What is the meaning of this? Oh, a trifling matter. Simply that in my head, I think I shall always picture you wearing those shackles.
Bro.
Without them, the balance seems all wrong. It's distracting. Sorry? So we decided to restore them. For old time's sake, shall we say. You are a stowaway after all. He thinks this is funny.
Man, ouch.
Mr. Sholmes,
Oh my god. This is like the most...
we do appreciate all your assistance. Come
Wait
on,
a fucking minute. I have the same bag that he does.
Holy shit, you're right! You do!
What the fuck?
Holy shit. Bro, you're Sherlock Holmes.
No!
for
No,
real.
no, 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 no.
I made the jokes with Hiyori So. Or So Hiyori, whatever. I made the jokes with So. I'm gonna make the
You were
jokes
wrong.
with Sholmes
You
now.
were factually fucking wrong.
I'm correct, and you know it.
On every
I'm
front.
correct,
On
and you know
every
it.
front,
I'm
you are
correct, and you know it.
incorrect. No, you were lying. You were
What made you
lying.
forget that I am using a headphone mic and I can swallow this mic?
That would be really unhealthy. Don't do that.
Get the. I don't even know where I was going with that, honestly. I'd like to thank you for the.
I'd like to thank you from the bottom of my heart.
I don't know where you were going with that either.
I don't know.
Not at all, not at all. And though it's a little late, may I offer my sincere condolences?
Thank you for your condolences, Mr.
The loss
Sholmes.
of your companion is truly heartrending. I hope that you will be able to fulfill, with one L, some of his aspirations in his honor.
Is that British English or something?
Maybe.
I'm afraid that won't be possible. We shall be disembarking at the next port in Hong Kong. We have to return to Japan and make a full report about everything that's happened.
What? Wait a minute. It's just me that has to go back, isn't it? I mean, I was the stowaway.
The terms of the study tour were negotiated by the Department of Justice in both Great Britain and Japan. It was to be 1 lawyer and 1 assistant.
Was to be?
In the light of Mr. Sogi's unfortunate death, I'm afraid the study tour can no longer go ahead.
I don't care for me, but... Where's Sato-san? My dear fellows, the majority of problems have an extremely simple solution, you know. All you require is 1 lawyer, and the study tour can continue, sure.
I mean, sure, but don't call me Shirley.
But there was no one else with the necessary qualifications, Mr. Sholmes. We know of no other lawyer.
Qualifications, you say?
I'm not qualified.
Qualifications obtained in your own country have little value in Great Britain, I'm afraid.
Oh, but...
Anyway, the voyage to London still promises a good month of time. Ample opportunity, I would say, to find yourselves another suitable lawyer.
Yes.
Miss Susato,
Yes?
do you think perhaps I might be able to do it?
But you're not a lawyer, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, unless... Are you studying law?
No, I'm not, but...
Oh, shit.
I'm sorry. In that case, I don't think there's even a chance it could work.
But as I said, there is still more than a month before we reach England shores. Isn't that right, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes, I have a month in which to study, to learn what I must to become a lawyer in Great Britain.
God bless.
Mr. Naruhodo!
That's ridiculous. It is. Are you seriously suggesting anybody could learn all of that in just 40 days?
There's only one way to find out. I would work my fingers to the bone, Inspector, every single day. Will you let me try? And if by the time we reach Great Britain I haven't learned enough to be recognized as a lawyer, I'll take whatever punishment is deemed appropriate.
Why put yourself in such a difficult position?
Kazuma. He said that there was something he had to do in Great Britain, and that he would sacrifice anything to make it happen. He was passionate about it. I can't let all that passion just come to nothing. And anyway, it's for my own benefit, too. I will become a lawyer. I have to. What do you say, Mrs. Sato?
I think it's a wonderful idea.
Thank you. So, what does our bespectacled inspector friend say?
Bespectacled inspector. Are you serious? No, I'm Herlock.
No, I sure. 1 lawyer and 1 assistant. The numbers are indisputable.
No, it's madness.
Yet fascinating, wouldn't you agree?
Fascinating.
Duty and rules are the dual routine of existence that we all avoid. Give us interest. Give us fascination.
Speak for yourself.
Besides, qualifications are
on
no
him.
measure of a man. What matters is his character. No?
Ah.
And you've witnessed ample evidence of this man's exemplary character today with your own eyes, from the early hours of this morning until this very moment now. Despite contending with the passing of his close companion, and despite the accusation of guilt, this man has shown resourcefulness, intelligence, and above all, courage.
Very well. I'll think of a clever way to word my report to the Department of Justice.
Inspector.
After all, I did just make a promise, didn't I? I said that I'd do anything at all to make up for my shortcomings here. Oh, thank you, Inspector. If you'll excuse me, I must pay a visit to the captain's quarters, I think. I need to discuss what to do next and how best to make my report.
Hope you don't get beat up again.
Haha.
Are you really prepared to attempt this, Mr. Naruhodo?
Nope.
Nice.
Yes, I'm going to try. I wonder, would you consider teaching me what I need to know? Everything about being a lawyer.
I would be delighted to help you. I am a judicial assistant, after all.
Thank you.
And, Mr. Naruhodo, I'd like you to take charge of this.
What? Me? Are you sure?
I'm sure it's what Kazuma-sama would have wanted. Its name is Kadama. It's a great sword. Has been in the Asogi clan for generations.
Very well. I accept. I'll treasure it always. So then, Mr. Sato, it seems we'll be working together for some time to come yet.
It will be an honor, Mr. Naruhodo. And for the next 40 days, I shan't grudge you a single minute of freedom. We shall fill every spare moment with study.
Yes! That's exactly what I need!
But before we begin, I have an earnest favor to ask of you, too.
Goodness. What is it? I like that, goodness.
Please throw me to the ground. 3 times!
What?
I should never have doubted you. You were Kazuma-sama's closest friend. Of course, you never would have done anything to hurt him. That should have been obvious to me from the start. But I allowed suspicion to get the better of me. And no matter how upset I was feeling, it was completely unforgivable behavior.
No! No, you were in shock. You just found out about me stowing away. The cabin door was locked from the inside.
No! I won't let you make excuses for me. Whatever the circumstances, I never should have thrown you. And not just once, but 5 times?
That number keeps creeping up, doesn't it?
Please, you must. Just take hold of me and throw me. Do it. Don't even think about it.
No, I don't even know how. I've never told anyone in my life. Very wise, Mr. Naruhodo. It isn't a skill one acquires without considerable training.
Oh, Mr. Sholmes.
I observed your throwing technique several times with great interest. I confess I was most impressed. When did he see that?
When did he see
I
it?
presume it would be a form of Japanese wrestling.
Oh, well, in a way. It's not wrestling, but my own interpretation of an ancient jujutsu technique.
Apparently it's called the Sato Takedown. Leaves your head swimming, believe me. How beguiling. I am a practitioner of the combative art myself. I am a somewhat accomplished boxer! There he goes.
And-
That's again.
Is he punching Susato? He did!
Bat, 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 right hook, bang.
Pow! Fuck.
I wonder if you'd be so kind as to instruct me on the technique of your arresting throw.
Yes, I'd be honored.
Then let us not dally. Demonstrate, my dear madame.
Oh, of course. Are you ready, Mr. Naruhodo?
Sorry?
Hiya!
Nice. Nice that it went silent right as I did that. It was like, the Susato takedown is too powerful.
Wait, is there no sound?
Yeah, there's no sound.
Fucking god. So bad that it literally made you go deaf.
As you can see, you fell from the abdomen.
Oh yes, a rend sting indeed. And that is what you term the Susato takedown, is it?
Actually, no. That was Susato.
And that's where we end it.
Yay!
My groggy state of consciousness, a scene from an evening recently spent with Kazuma flickered into my mind.
We're still not done.
Yeah, because Ryu's thinking about Kazuma.
Kaduma? That's right. It's a prized sword that's been passed down through generations of the Asogi clan. I can't believe you managed to get permission to bring it with you. I mean, taking a katana on a study tour is more than a little irregular, surely.
It actually isn't, and don't call me Shirley.
The Japanese man's sword is his soul, Inosuke. I can't be parted from my katana. Kadama guides me. I truly believe that. So its name compels its wielder to slice evil in two. Not that you would need much compelling on that subject. There's something very important that I have to do in Britain, and I'll sacrifice anything to make it happen. I'd appreciate you seeing it through with me. Of course I will. Whatever it is, I'll see it through to the end with you. I knew you wouldn't let me down. That important thing he had to do. I still don't know what that was. But I'm going to see the place for myself and work it out. Great Britain's capital? London.
There we go! Oh my god.
Fucking fanfare.
Oh hey, crash course candidate.
Oh shit! I wasn't even looking at the screen.
You got an achievement.
Oh
That's
my
thick.
god, that's awesome!
Yo, the adventure of the runaway room, which
Well,
we will do next
next
time
time.
because it's 11 p.m. and we have school tomorrow.
I have to wake up in like 7 hours.
Anyway, we'll see y'all later. Thank you for watching. We're never gonna see Nikolina again, and that makes me really sad because I think she's pretty neat.
Hey. Sorry if this was low energy. It's 11:15.
Bro, I was expecting this to take like an hour at most.
Yeah, so was I, honestly. I was expecting like an hour and a half at most. And
then
instead
it's like-
it's been...
Aha.
Actually, we don't know yet. It's been like... It's been well over 2 hours. I'd say that's a good... I think that's a good guess.
Alright, anyway, I'm going to bed. Good night,
Anyway,
y'all.
yeah, later, folks.